4. We're live. Hi, Carly. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Miriam. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and I'm really happy to have you here. And I want to say hello to everyone, whoever is there around the world listening to this virtual conversation. And I'm always amazed, no matter how many years I've been with technology, it's always amazing to be able to be talking live on the internet and that anybody can be watching from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So, Carly, it's a pleasure to have you here. And tonight we're going to talk about something that lots of people go through, which is pain, especially here, carrying all this weight. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, sure. My name is Carly Penfold, and I've been a holistic practitioner for over 10 years. Actually, it's actually over 12 years now. And I'm a Shiatsu practitioner, so I work with the energetic meridians in the body, as well as adding in Reiki, energy healing, and chakra balancing. And well, since COVID happened, not really seeing anybody in person so much anymore, just like my regular client base. And then 5 years ago in 2015, I started the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair, of which, Miriam, you have been an awesome long-term vendor at. And once again, with COVID, though, those events all got canceled for the rest of this year. So right now, what I'm working on is I'm actually going back to teaching. And like you were just saying, with everything being online and worldwide, I have a much wider reach now. And actually next week, I have a free series coming up on upper body pain relief. So I'll be sharing tips on how to relieve pain from the neck, shoulders, elbows, and wrists. And I'll also be sharing some acupressure charts for easy location and talking about the energetic systems. If you'd like to join me on that, the registration's at carlypenfold.com.
I registered already.
Yes, you did. I saw that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's who I am in a nutshell. But what really brought me into energy healing was actually when my family was living overseas in Indonesia. I was 14 years old, and my mom took me to see an acupuncturist because of my acne. And that was my first introduction to an alternative holistic type of treatment or way of healing the body. And I was kind of intrigued ever since then. And I've always been studying it to the point of actually making a career out of it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So in my series, I do acupressure, though, which just uses our fingers. And so I don't use needles. So in my series,
we call it in Brazil doing. I don't know why. Yeah, because I learned that technique in Brazil many years ago, but that's how we call it doing. I don't know where it comes from. The acupressure only using fingers, like using the IG4. This is very important. This is a very important one for the stomach and digestion and headaches that come from the stomach.
Yeah, that's on the large intestine. It's actually a balancing point for the large intestine meridian, which is right here in that webbing, meaty section between the thumb and the pointer finger. And that one is really considered to be like a downward button. So it's excellent for relieving headaches or anytime you want the energy to come down. So if you've got like any indigestion or heartburn, it's good for constipation. If you're wanting things to move downwards, that's the best acupressure point to use right there.
It's a savior. I find it, because sometimes you feel dizzy because of a stomach thing and you don't realize that's what it is, and then you pressure here. This point is always painful.
Yeah.
Well, with the food we eat.
That's right. And that's a good point too, is that, you know, when using the acupressure points, be gentle on yourself. You don't want to bruise yourself or cause even more pain. So even a light touch is good. And with the lighter touch, you can actually start to feel the energy pathways and even start to feel a pulse that's there. So given that we're talking about this point, there are some contraindications to using it. For example, if you're early on in your pregnancy, you do not want to be using this because it's encouraging things to go down. And when you're pregnant, you want baby to stay up until baby's ready. So, and on the flip side of that,
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, if you're past your due date, though, I'd say, like, you know, you have the knowledge, you can do what you want.
What about if a woman is on her period and it will intensify it?
It can help regulate it. Yeah, absolutely. And there's other acupressure points for that too, like for relief from cramps, and there's some on the lower back. And yeah, there's a ton of common ailments that acupressure is excellent for, and it's non-invasive, it's very easy to do, and it's free. All you need are your hands, or at least one hand. And you can do that on what I teach in my series. And I actually have a program later in this year that's starting up where we dive deeply into all the 12 meridians and learn the balancing points on them. And I guide my students to, you know, we talk about common ailments and what's going on with the group, and I'll share like self-acupressure techniques and tips for that.
That's very, very important. I had an experience with an acupuncturist in Brazil. I was going through panic attacks. Later on, I realized it was because of the relationship I was going through there, which was complicated and causing lots of blockages of energy. But every time I went to the acupuncturist, I was in bliss. Like there's the needles there. I was like, holy, I don't want to get out of here. And then I would be good for a couple of days, and then the issues were coming back at home, and then blocking the energy again. Then I would go back. So this whole energy cycle, it's amazing, and I think it's super important. So I'm looking forward to your course.
Yeah, I was just prepping some of my diagrams and my charts. Actually, you know what? I'll grab one right now.
Okay. While you grab it, I wanted to mention that I remember we met at HAO. Do you remember HAO?
Yes, Healing Arts Association of the Okanagan.
Yeah. No longer exists anymore.
No, they haven't been for a while. Yeah.
We used to have the markets then, and then I'm so glad that you actually continued having the markets like in a bigger structure and much better than it was at the time.
Yeah. But the Laurel Packing House is actually still closed. They have not reopened yet. So yeah, with that limit of 50 people for large gatherings, in the course of the day, like we have over 50 vendors in the first place, let alone everybody coming through. And over the course of the day, there's upwards of 500 people through. So yeah, it's a little challenging to have that scale of an event at this time. But, I'm doing my best to bring what I can online so that people are still able to access the healing info and having contact with everybody. And actually, all of those vendors, including yourself, Miriam, they're still up on the website, holisticmarket.ca.
Oh, that's awesome.
If people are looking to find the contact info for the vendors that have been at the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair, that's the spot to go. There's a Meet the Exhibitor section, and there's a write-up about each of them and all the ways to contact them, with its phone or website or Instagram or Facebook, YouTube. That's still there, and I'm keeping that part going as a directory so people can easily still find us in the virtual world.
And who knows, it might come back. We don't really know exactly what's going to happen after this is gone. But when you mentioned that you had to stopped seeing clients in person and working virtually,
Yeah.
it passed through my mind that we're going through a challenging time, which in a way looks ugly, but in another way, like there's always both ways on 3D dimension. It's dual. So the opposite, the good side of it is that it's actually taking us to understand that we can do that. Energy doesn't have a physical barrier. That you
Right.
can heal virtually.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need to be in person, right? So this is what I think many of us are learning in
Yes.
the world right now. This inner connection of energy. What do
Yes.
you think?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, as a Reiki practitioner, we're taught how to do distant energy healing sessions. Not, it hasn't been in as much demand until recently, but it does, it's tapping into the energetic field that we're all connected with, and being able to send that healing energy. The way that I do it with my clients is we set up like a Zoom meeting, and so that there's still that visual contact, and the client is, gets comfortable, and then is just able to be guided. And then I'm sending the healing energy through my hands, and I still feel the heat coming through, and I'm still feeling it and tapping into their energy field. And it's true. It doesn't need to have like something to travel along. Like we don't need a wire or a cable or fiber for that. It's done through the cosmic energy field. So
So yeah.
it's very effective. And actually a lot of my clients really like it, because then they're already at home and they're nice and relaxed. And it's nice that they're able to just kind of then, if it's at the end of the day, to then just go off to bed and have, not have to do any traveling or driving after that. So
That's right.
it is still really effective. My experience has been that with Reiki, but I know there's other modalities as well, even from the people at the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair, that they do a lot of distant energy work as well, whether like Tesla energy healing, or you do as well, don't you, Miriam?
Reiki, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I became a Reiki master in Brazil. All these things that I did in Brazil. So yeah, I became a Reiki master there, and it's also are all tools that we are learning on the way, and then we understand that energy is universal, and
It is.
you choose. It kind of like reading cards. You can choose one deck or the other, but it's all about how you're interpreting this energy and connecting with the other person's field and interpreting for them what
Yes.
they are creating for their lives. So all these tools are so fun. And you were grabbing a chart there to
Oh
show us.
yeah, I do. I have that here. I was just putting together for the upper body pain relief, one of the handouts that I have that's going to go to all of the people who've registered for it. The first day, it's actually a 3-day series. So the first day I'm covering points and tips and techniques for the neck and shoulders. And then the next day is on Wednesday, and that one I'm targeting elbows and doing a guided meditation in there as well. Not exactly sure where the guided meditation is going to show up. It'll just depend how it plays out, because this is all going to be live. And then the third day will be for wrist pain, and that includes tendonitis and carpal tunnel for anybody that has that, whether they're waiting for surgery or not, or they just want some pain relief. Acupressure and the tips that I share are able to, you'll be able to use them to either get pain relief or like just have it eliminated completely. So the upper body pain relief one for the neck and shoulders, I'll share one of those points with you right now.
Awesome.
It's a good one. It's called Gallbladder 20, and it's located on the back of the neck, like right at the base of the skull. So if you're using your fingers, you're just kind of feeling for where your skull is, and tipping your chin up and down a bit like this will just kind of help you find that ridge a little bit more. And so I'm going to
I
show
think I
that
found
here.
it.
Yeah.
Because it hurts a little bit.
Yeah. So this is actually the front of the skeletal and the muscular system here, but the gallbladder 20. I put a little dot up here. So it's around the level of like the mouth. So kind of going from the mouth around to the back. And that's where you'll find some indentations there. They're quite large. They're probably about that that big. There we go. And yeah, so the acupressure points, they're not pinpoint.
Yeah.
They are about the size of a quarter. Dime, about the
Feels
size
good.
from a dime to a quarter. I know, eh?
Yeah.
And so tipping the chin up and down a little bit and feeling around the edge of where the skull is. And then, not in the center, it's off to the side. These points are bilateral, so it's the same on both sides of the body, these particular ones. And you'll be able to feel it, and you should be able to get your middle finger right into that spot. It may be tender, especially if you've got issues going on there, right? You got some neck pain or shoulder pain. This point is actually a release for both of them.
I woke up with neck pain today.
Yeah. And so taking a deep breath in while you're holding these points, and then exhaling and really focusing on how that area is feeling. I close my eyes when I do this. And then inhale, coming in, breathing in, energetic, light, healing energy, and allowing that to go where it's needed. And then on the exhale, allowing this area to release, letting go of any physical tension that may be there, any tightness or holding, but then also releasing and letting go of any emotions that arise, letting go of all that's no longer needed to be carried around with you at this point. And then breathing in again, deep inhale. I like the inhales to come in through the nose and then out through the mouth, exhaling, releasing and letting go. And again, just kind of moving the chin up and down a bit, only to the level of your comfort. And then to finish, interlacing the fingers and putting them over there and kind of leaning forward a bit and doing a little bit of a neck press. So kind of moving the palms of your hands together. You can rest your arms downward and just let gravity do its thing. And then doing a just gentle squeeze in there around the neck.
You can feel a stretch on all the spine.
Yeah, you will feel this even right down to the middle of your back. And there's no need to pull. We don't want to be doing any pulling, but just letting gravity and the weight of your arms give that area a nice stretch into the back of the neck. And that's using the gallbladder point. That one's called Gates of Consciousness. And I love the poetry in the names of all of these acupressure points. The Gates of Consciousness, these points are what's connecting between what's going on in our minds and our bodies. So when there's some imbalance in there, these points will help to bring that connection back. It is like a gate. It's literally like a gate, just opening up and flowing. And when the energy is flowing, then it's nourishing the organs and is creating a sense of balance and calm. So an example of where your mind and body may be out of alignment would be, for example, if somebody's on their computer a lot. So they're up in their head, they're thinking about stuff, it's very visual, and they're doing a lot of work and a lot of typing or mouse work or whatever. And but if you don't get up and take care of your body and start moving around and giving yourself some breaks and nourishing yourself, then there's that, it's not balanced at that point. You're too much in the head space and not enough in the body.
So there's a blockage of energy and blockages around here.
Yeah. And then because everything, the way that I've learned is that, and from my experience of treating hundreds of people, is that the energetic field, the aura, the energy lines, these meridians in the body, they will start to get out of whack first before you feel it in the physical body. So it's really important to take care of both aspects.
Absolutely.
Especially when trying to eliminate pain or discomfort. Treating the physical body is one thing, but it's so much more powerful when it's combined with the energetic self.
Absolutely.
And then even more with the spiritual self.
Yeah, because if you don't connect all of the other aspects, it might come back. Because if you're dealing only with the physical, which is the last manifestation through the pain, through the imbalance on the physical, then it will keep coming back. So you have to heal your emotional, your mental, your spiritual. Absolutely. I totally agree. And like the carrying, like pain here, it's carrying the weight of the world.
Quite literally, like that's where that saying came from. It's like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you feel it there. Like it's so accurate to have that description. Like literally feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and it's like, you can feel that there is all that stress. I mean, people carry stress in different areas of their body. Often it is in the neck and shoulders, but people also feel it in their stomachs quite a lot. And that can result in upset stomachs, bowel movements are off, and it's just starting to affect on the physical level. Often there'll be a knot. It's difficult to eat because you don't feel that hunger because everything's so tight and tense. So those are some tips that I can share with everybody who has experienced any neck pain.
I just had this visual of like, okay, some people will react to stress of like that. They can't eat, nothing goes through. And some people go in forcing, I'm emotionally in pain, and I go, okay, go in, eat more.
Yes. Well, at that point, when it comes to the stomach and what's going on in our lives, it's like, okay, well, it's not just about digesting and assimilating the food that we're putting in, but it's digesting and assimilating what's going on in our lives, right? It's taking a look at the bigger picture. And here's a good example. I was wake surfing and I hurt my knee, which was my left knee. So when looking at the energy systems on people, I like to take a look at, the yin and the yang of our sides of the body. And the left side is like the yin side. It's our motherly inward selves. And the knee is about moving forward with, where we're heading. And I've lost 2 businesses due to COVID and lost like over 80% of my income. And I'm reinventing myself and drawing on my skills that I've had in the past and combining it with the experience that I've had over the last decade that, I am moving forward in a different direction. And it's challenging to say the least. And that's where it's showing up in my body. There was a weakness there already.
It's the unknown, right? You're moving forward, but it's unknown because you were in a comfort position. Everything was working.
Yes, it was working so well.
And then out of a sudden, okay, the universe is pushing to the other side, but where is it? I don't know this place. Yeah.
So that's an example of how, how when people are working with me, and even in an online setting, like in my group program, we address this in our Q&A day that we do the Q&A questions, and people can ask like, well, hey, I'm feeling this here or that. Or like, what does that mean? Like, how do you read that as a whole for the whole person? And for me, that would have been like having that show up in my knee, having that weakness was already there prior to the physical injury. So that now I recognize that and I'm acknowledging it. And it was something that I kind of kept to myself. It wasn't something I was really public about, that I was, feeling a little bit like unnerved in that.
But it's helpful now because you're actually reinventing yourself in terms of going farther into healing
Yeah.
these aspects to others and to you, and sharing that is really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I just love that I'm still able to still be in the field that I absolutely love. Holistic healing is my number one like go-to for any time something comes up. I'm a big fan of essential oils, and I do enjoy adding the properties of those into my sessions as well, and into the
Talking
healing.
about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go.
This is peppermint. I'm addicted to peppermint.
Yeah. Oh, and you've got the roller. So for people that do have the neck pain and discomfort, the peppermint's really good for muscle relief.
Mhm.
And it's cooling as well. So if any of the ladies out there have hot flashes, spritzing yourself with a mixture of that with some water would, diluted for sure if you're spritzing, is really good to kind of help those hot flashes. I use a peppermint spray when I'm playing pickleball, because I'm a massive pickleball player. I'm a competitive player. I'm also a ref for pickleball, and I've been out of commission now for like 3 weeks with my knee, because ended up tearing the meniscus in it.
Oh.
So I've got got a couple more weeks of healing left. Guess what I'm doing? I'm doing acupressure on it, but I'm icing it too. And I really believe people need to take charge of their own health and their wellness, and assemble a team. Go see your physician if you have something wrong. That's what I had. The first was like a telephone visit, then I with the walk-in clinic, and then I got a video visit with my regular doctor, and then off to see a physio after that. And I've seen a chiro, and I'm doing acupressure. I use other tips and techniques for helping to reduce pain, like some icing techniques, which I'll share in my program. And and it's not just one thing. It's like, yes, you can use you can go and go to one place to seek out some advice, or even like a naturopathic doctor too, right? But choose something that works for you. Choose what resonates with you, but seek out to determine what the root cause is, and what is actually injured or whatnot, whether you need x-rays or an MRI or something like that. Like, really dive in to find out what is actually happening. Because when you know that, then you can work with your team to bring you back to that balance and health again.
That might be a little challenging for people right now. I'm just saying, because I have an MRI of the knee.
Oh, do you?
for December, and that was requested last year.
Yes. Well, there is a long wait in Canada for that, unless you choose to go to a private one, which, depends on how quickly you would like to know.
I've been working on healing it and healing the emotional process and all that. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe when it gets to December, it will not be there and we will not find it.
It'll be healed by then. And then some lucky person will get your spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually right after I did this with my knee, I did do a video tutorial on reducing knee pain. So I gave some tips for that. And one of them I can share with you, because I know I have them around here. I was using it today. Oh, there it is, right here. Anyhow, I've used a tennis ball, and putting a tennis ball at the back of the knee, like say this is your leg.
Oh.
Right at the back of the knee, like right into there. Of course, on your knee though. We'll activate. There's 3 acupressure points back there. 2 of them are on the bladder meridian, and 1 is on the kidney meridian. And that will help to bring more energy and circulation to that area at the back of the knee, and will just help to heal it, bring you back to the road of recovery a little bit faster as well. Because I can't wait to get back on the pickleball courts. I went out there tonight actually and was doing some drills, and I was like, I miss playing a full game. And it's such a social sport too. So there's the whole aspect of socializing with all the other players. And I'm like, oh, I'm out of the loop.
I had to look for what pickleball was when I heard from
Oh.
you were playing that. I was like, what is that? I never heard.
Yeah. And then the other, oh, there it is. Hang on a sec. I'm going to just go get it. On my other table. I put it in a sock so that, if you've got a knee injury, the last thing you want to do is go chase this if you dropped it and it rolls away from you. So this really helps to just kind of hold on to it and it doesn't roll away from you. And what Good I have idea. Inside of this one is actually a broken pickleball, because they do break, unfortunately. They do break quite often, can go through several in a game even. But this is what the pickleball looks like. So it's got a wiffle, it's got holes in it. And compared to a tennis ball, you can see the size. This one the pickleball is a hard plastic. For outdoor ones, there's also some ones that are a little bit more of a softer ball, but this is the one that most of the tournaments use these ones. And then the tennis ball is a lot softer and has a bit more give. So for the back of my knee, I really liked using the pickleball for the size of it. And then I had that in here and was doing some, like, just kind of while I was sitting actually and working, I had it behind my knee. And so that it would, I'm a big multitasker. I like to make the best use of my time. And I have it behind my knee and I just have that there. I'm actually going to put it there now, actually, while we're on right here. The hardest part about doing self-acupressure is remembering to do it.
Yes.
It's,
feeling you deserve this treatment from yourself, right? I think
that's right. And allowing yourself that time to give to yourself and to do that. And the thing is, when you start to do the acupressure, like even like say with the neck or the shoulders or the knees, when it starts to feel better, you don't have the pain reminding you anymore. And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to set an alarm and make sure that I do this like twice a day. And then that way it can help remind you. I actually do a 21-day challenge with my groups, and we compare and like track how we're feeling after 3 days and after 1 week and after 3 weeks to see the improvement and just kind of chart our progress along, because it's not instant. It does take some time. It does take some commitment. And but it's up to us. It's up to us. It's us.
Persistence too, right?
Persistence. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to take charge of our health and be responsible for it. And so many people go to Dr. Google. When they have an ailment, it's like, ooh, what's good for this? Or why do I have knee pain? Or why does my neck hurt? And then you get flooded with a ton of information. But
yes.
That's why I like working with my clients, so that they, I help teach them as well about the self-healing and that they can do self-care at home. When they're seeing me in person, then they have those tools to do themselves, and it's sharing it. Like it's information that's like over 7,000 years old. Like it works. It wouldn't be around still if it didn't. That's for sure.
I really like that ball on the back of the knee. I was suggested to do it on my feet because I have flat feet, and that helps massage there. And I don't know if the flat feet will go away, but it helps there. And it
will help give that massage
on
too.
That area, it's the
arch
of the spine.
The
spine, yes. The arch is the spine, right?
Yeah, in reflexology, that is where the spine is represented on the feet. Yeah, and the feet, and then and in the hands too. It's just all connected.
So do we have the spine here too on our hands?
Oh, there's hand charts as well. Yeah, there is. And then it relates with the feet as well. And that's why I love sharing all of this with my people.
So you're going to be sharing on these 3 days this week of seminar more about the shoulder and back pain.
Not the back. We'll just be doing neck, shoulders, elbows, and wrists in my series that's coming up August 25th, 26th, and 27th of 2020, in case someone's watching this way down the road on a replay. And it is free. You just have to register with your first name and email so that you can be sent all of the access links, as well as all those extra goodies that I have for people, such as these charts to find the points easily.
You're giving this for free. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's an introduction. And then if people want to, try that with me, and if they want to dive deeper into it, then I have a monthly program. We meet 3 times a month on a Zoom call, and there's a guided meditation. We look after the whole body, and then I share more acupressure points. Just for the sake of doing a series, I chose the upper body because it's easy to see. But in my program, I go deeper into like lower back, and so I can show like a little bit further back, like some exercises to do on the floor, and give some tips and techniques for accessing the harder to reach spots. Yeah,
because it's not easy to reach your back.
I know, but there's ways. This is one of them.
Do you do it like that with the ball?
Yeah.
After we finish this, I'm going to get a ball into the sock.
Yeah. So if people want to register for that series that's coming up, I am broadcasting it to Facebook as well as to YouTube, so they have their choice of where they want to see it. The registration is at carlypenfold.com. So it's CARLY, pen like you write with, and fold like you fold a piece of paper, carlypenfold.com, and the registration's right on the homepage. There's a link for that there. And
there are some links. Some of your links will be down below, but they can find that information on one of your websites. Or Facebook page. Okay. Yeah,
and actually, I do for those who are attending the Facebook and YouTube series. I will have an offer out there as well. I have a limited number of one-on-one consultations that I'll be doing as well. It's complimentary, just to kind of, if something's addressed that we didn't quite cover in the series, then I'm more than happy to share some tips like we did for your knee, my knee, and to share some tips there as well. So I'm pretty much, I have a limited number of those that I do in a month. So there's only one of me, and I can only do so many things at once, but I do have a couple of those available, and they can be booked. I have easily booked. I've got the carlypenfold.com/links, I believe is where I've also got a link to that to book in for a one-on-one consult. But that's after you've seen if you've participated in this series and kind of get a taste for what my style is and what I'm like, and see if we can, work together a bit more, then that's the way that people can reach me.
I found it so funny when you said there's only one of me.
Oh.
when you start realizing, I don't know, I think this is happening lately to a lot of people, realizing that there are other dimensions of yourself, and that there are other parts of your consciousness that are focused on other realities all at the same time.
And I think we touched on that with fractals when you were on my holistic living show. Yeah, I know. There's just so many layers. Ooh, we could be here for weeks.
There's only one of you here on this dimension. But we are connected to all these other dimensions. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was telling you about this dolphins I have here, and through dreams, you find other dimensions of yourself if you exercise remembering those dreams and interpreting what the messages that are coming. And I had a dream with the dolphins, and I realized that at one point my consciousness was somewhere in Sirius, where the dolphins come from. It's
Oh,
a star in our galaxy.
yeah.
Sirius. I don't know how to say it.
Serious?
Sirius.
So I think, yeah.
SIRU.
RIUS, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 So those
Yeah.
beings came from there. And they
Mm,
are more intelligent than we think. Lots of animals, we can communicate with them.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta share something. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with what we're talking, but it's just that I remember we went camping about 2 weeks ago, and there was a couple of blue jays there. And we had some blue jays around our place before, but they disappeared because we had a nasty neighbor that didn't like birds.
Oh,
Yeah. But then Bob and I started talking with these blue jays at the camping, and then we invited them to come here. And we were in Hadley, yes, about 2 hours from here.
oh, yeah, yeah.
And yesterday a blue jay showed up and came to talk to Bob. I haven't seen it, but he was talking to Bob outside. It was like, wow, it's
Nice.
amazing.
We have a ton of birds in our backyard. We have a bird bath, and we have doves and robins and these little yellow ones. I'm not a big bird person, so I just usually go by color. And then the ones that have like, the ones that have like a bit of red on them as well. And I think a finch or something is what they might be called.
I don't know the names either.
Yeah. But they're so pretty, and they just fly in and they fly out. There's just a hub of activity back there. Yeah. I don't know, and hummingbirds, tons of hummingbirds. In fact, we saw the cat going after one. So actually, I was having a conversation with the cat. I'm like, in my mind, I was like, cat? Because it's not my cat. It's somebody else's in the neighborhood. Keeps coming to my backyard though. I'm like, cat, you're welcome to be here in the backyard, but don't eat the birds. Birds alone.
Carly, you're not alone. I've done the same conversation with the neighbor's cat.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you're okay here, but no killing birds. Not here.
Yeah, I don't want any presents at my door, thanks.
Because cats are funny because they don't really eat the birds. They just play with
them. Yeah. And then it's like, ooh, look what I did. They bring it up. I've had my neighbor cats bring me birds before too, not where I am now, but at a different place. And it's like, they'll leave them for me at my car and at the front door. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks.
I wanted to ask you something. What do you think about the micro pulse on points of our meridians?
The micro pulse?
Yeah, like
using a tool?
Yeah.
I don't use them. I've heard of them, and I know some acupuncturists that do use them, and they're quite effective. It's almost like a pen. Is that the one?
They're different. There is a pen, and there is also patches that you can put, and then you turn on the machine.
Oh, like a TENS machine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use the TENS machine on it, but there are some out there that are specifically for using on acupuncture points or acupressure points. They're the same points. They're just accessed differently. And I know one of the acupuncturists that I've gone to see uses it on people's ears, because like even the whole ear has every single organ and body part associated with it, and she uses it on the ear as well, and it does that pulsation. So usually it's the acupuncturists I find that use the tools, because the acupressurists, these are our tools. Like when I work with somebody in person, I don't need my sight. My eyes are in my hands. The feeling is all in my hands. And that's where I actually do better by closing my eyes during a session, because that's where I can just feel it. I can just tap into that and feel it. So if somebody's using the needles in acupuncture, they don't have that touch, right? So then the machines come in and they are, yeah, I've heard that they're effective, and I've had them used on me. And yeah, I agree, but I wouldn't suggest this, like the general public starts using them like that. Just, you're better to feel what you're doing. And that's with the touch of your, like your own hands and fingertips. And you can get a lot more sensitive as you practice. But it is important to also get that feedback as well from your hands too. So yeah,
that's, and also while you were saying better using our hands as tools, if you are somewhere in a situation that you don't have any tools, nothing better than knowing how to use your tools that aren't always there.
That's right.
It happened to me because Bob had a stroke in Brazil, and it was a situation that the hospital where he ended up there was so basic that they didn't even have an X-ray. And
in a hospital. Oh wow.
Yeah, very very basic, in an island, and in first day before Carnival started. So it was a situation, and I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And then I remember, wow, I can find the points of his brain and start stimulating them. So I found that on the big toes you have the brain. And so I started massaging his big toes. And I think that helped, because what else could I do? I didn't have any tools. The hospital didn't have anything.
Yeah. And that's and that's like tying in with reflexology as well. And I'm not a reflexologist, but I have learned a lot about it just from doing with my shiatsu and my acupressure points, because there's so much that overlaps, right, between all the modalities. And it's awesome just to be able to be like, yeah, we can bring it all together. But with the feet, the big toe is like representative of the brain. And then it would be like, going down the arch of the foot as the spine. And it's all just mapped out like right there on the base of the foot.
I never thought about that. So you have the big toe, the brain, and then the spine. Everything is so mapped perfectly, and we have amazing perfect bodies.
And then to have that kind of imprint on a foot, as well as in a hand, as well as in an ear, and then on the whole body as well. Like, it's just, the human body just is astounding to me, like just how we work and how we interact and have, we haven't even touched on like the chakras and the energy fields. Like, that's the East Indian origin. And that's how our personal energy interacts with the energy around us as the funnels in the front and the back of us, and those 7 main centers. And again, that helps, like that also gives indication as to where there might be imbalances. And I use pendulums and charts, and I help me to find which chakras are most out of balance with my clients and my students. And it's like, and they're always astounded, like, that makes so much sense. This is what's been going on.
For the chakras, I use the rods. I think you've seen me you doing a measurement. So the rods are really good for the chakras, because you go on the chakras, and if it's crossed, there is a blockage. And if it opens up or it starts spinning, and it's working good.
Well, so I have the dowsing rods too, and I've got little crystals at the end of them as well. And gosh, I haven't used those in a while. Now you're going to have me going down and finding those after this and bring them out again.
I just used them today. And I love doing that, because you can measure that if it's blocked, and then you go do the tuning forks for that chakra. Then you measure it again, and it's open. It's like, okay, now you got to keep it open.
Well, you think like, we are talking about energy and the energy systems in our body, and our body is we're almost all made up of water and electricity. flows through water. So that's how, that's one of the ways that our bodies are interacting with the energy around us too. We're almost like walking conduits to whatever's going around us, right? And if people, actually, this is a good point. I'll share another one of my tips. So if you find that you're like a highly sensitive person and you're out and big crowds or big shopping areas like bother you or feel like you get drained by it, one of the ways you can protect yourself energetically before going in is just to kind of zip yourself up. Like you've got, reach down to your feet and pretend like you've got a sleeping bag and you're zipping it up. And then, zip yourself down the back and down the arms and the sides and just kind of close it up, and then surround yourself with some light, like healing white light energy, really high vibration energy, because the lower energies will not be able to penetrate that. And then it's important though, when you're done being in a highly public place, is then to allow that then to be open again, or else your friends or your family might be like, you seem really distant. It's like, oh, right. Unzip that. Okay, you're back in my energy field again.
That's very interesting. I've played with becoming invisible.
Oh, ninja style.
Yeah, it's not like, well, it's energetic, right? So you can imagine yourself invisible to somebody.
Yeah.
And then you cross through, the person will not see you.
Yes.
I did that with ex in Brazil that I was crossing. I was like, no one can see. And invisible, he like 2 feet from me and didn't see me.
Yeah. You got to be careful when you don't do that when you're driving, because you want all the drivers to see you. It's like, I didn't see you. Oh, you just came out of nowhere. No. Yeah, highly visible when you're driving. Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to sharing, like in my series next week, the upper body pain relief, because I know from my own personal experiences, like it's not fun to be like not back to your normal self. And if I can share with people the tools and tips that I've learned over the years and that have worked for hundreds of my clients, that, I just get so much reward from that too. And being able to share this info that's so easy to do and it's free to do. You don't need any tools. And it's something that will help people get back to being, their active selves that they were before. For myself, it's like, I can't wait to get back to pickleball. And yeah, I think this type of energy work is gaining more acceptance. I think people are really more open-minded, and Google, people are knowledgeable now, or they're inquiring. And when they are inquiring and inquisitive about something, our answers are getting to us like so quickly. And now it's just a matter of how do you sift through all that knowledge to determine what's right for you. So this is one of the ways that I like to share it. And that's why I do it as a free series to start with. We're doing an hour each day. So it's just an introduction to it. But it will help you. You'll walk away with tools that you can use right away on yourself or your loved ones. You'll be getting these bonus charts that I've got to help you locate them again after the fact. You'll have access to them on the replays, and you can pause them as you need to. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I want to just be able to share that with more people, because being in pain is not fun. And if there's things we can do, and I'm going to share it with people to let them know that they can have these tools to help them on their path to recovery. And it's a holistic health way of doing it, holistically healthy way of doing it. We're not talking about any drugs that may become addictive. There's just tapping into our own selves and our own energy, and then supporting that as well. Like I have some other tools, like I was saying, like with the essential oils, there's some blends that I share, and I share an excellent bath recipe for helping to relieve pain as well, and to pH balance yourself, and to provide some minerals to your body that is needed for relieving pain as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share something with you on the Mayan calendar today.
Oh, I love this part.
Is the blue hand, number 4. And blue hand is healing, organizing, accomplishing healing.
Sweet.
And under number 4 is shaping it on the physical reality. So it's basically healing the physical reality, organizing the physical reality for healing. And that's the energy of today for the Mayan calendar, which was very in sync with the topic we had today.
That's awesome. Thanks,
And
Miriam. I love hearing that.
It goes for the week. So you're going to do this seminar this week on the same wave of or healing the physical reality.
Yeah, and I have a jump start for people who can't wait till October when my program launches again. I have a jump start one in September for those I want more. I'm going to have one in September, and then we're going full on in October, the first week of October. So
that's awesome.
I'm really thrilled to share that with everybody. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the seminar this week and connecting with you again.
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes, and do you want to say your final words to close?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll share that link again. It's carlypenfold.com. You can even go /links, and there's, my Instagram, all of that's in there. The registration for the series is on there as well. And also it's on the homepage of carlypenfold.com. So that's the easiest way, but you must register so that you can be sent the access links to participate. And you can choose to do that through YouTube or through a Facebook group, through my Holistic Living Tribe Facebook group. And what else?
Prepare to use your fingers.
I have lots of like free gifts I'm giving people too, like
I read that
tracking sheet to track your progress, and these are going to this is just one of them, but I have multiple ones of those, and it really helps people to have something to reference. And and I invite everybody to register and come join me on this series next week. And then if you've missed that, go ahead and register for it anyhow, because then I'll be notified and you'll start to get more info about it.
Thank you so much, Carly. Thank you for being
Miriam.
Here, sharing.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate that you share your knowledge. And this is just a little bit, so there will be more this week and more on the continuation of your courses.
Yeah.
And connecting with you individually too for healing.
Yeah.
And for everybody, we'll be back next Sunday. And next Sunday I'll be alone, and I'll be talking about healing from abuse. Healing from abuse. It was going to be a deep topic. I just have this feeling that I needed to talk about that, so that's what we're going to be talking. I'll be talking. We're going to be talking myself.
Yeah.
And we should do that again. And thank you so much, Carly.
Oh, thanks, Miriam. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There.